All right, here's an example of a circle and a quadratic. I know the top one is a circle because it's got an x squared and a y squared term. Because there's no h and k, then I know that it is the center of the circle is the origin, and I know that the radius is 6. And then the second one is a quadratic, and I know that that one opens up. So I've got a circle and a quadratic, so I could have one solution. I guess I could have no solutions. I could have two solutions. This is hard to see with the sketch. I could have 3 solutions. Okay, my sketch is really bad there. But you get the idea that you could have a variety of different solutions there. All right, so let's solve this one. And I am going to solve this one with elimination, and because I see that I have a positive 1 here and a positive 1 here, so all I'm going to do is take one of the equations and multiply by -1. So let's do that. So that gives me a negative x squared. Negative and negative is a positive, so plus 6y equals negative 36. And then I'm just going to recopy the top equation over here. There we go. And now let's add them up. And when I add them up, the x terms disappear. And 1 and 6 is 7y. And then I have, oh, wait, I have a y squared here. Ah, undo. There we go. There's a y squared. Good. So these disappear. So then the x's disappear. I have a y squared plus a 6y, and that equals 0. Now, before I get too far, you see how I just made the mistake of adding that up. Here's another thing that some students do sometimes. When they write their equation like this, this is very helpful if you're prone to make that same mistake I did. Let's see, this is a squared. Here's a squared. Well, they'll put it like this. They'll put like 0y, and then they'll put plus y squared equals 36. You see how they're kind of lining that up? And then they'll move this over here to be 36. And then sometimes they'll write 0y squared. So when you add them up, it's very obvious then that these are the y's and these are the y squares. So if you're prone to do this mistake like I just did, this might be a very helpful technique for you. All right, let's go back to this one here. Y squared plus 6y equals 0. I'm going to solve this quadratic by factoring. I'm going to factor out a y. So I have y times the quantity y plus 6 equals 0. Set each factor equal to 0 to solve. So we end up with y equals 0 and y equals -6. So let me just underline those so I don't lose them. Y equals 0 and y equals -6. All right, so let's put each one back in and see what our x's are. So let's pick the y equals 0. Let's put that one in over here. And so I've got x squared. I can use either equation I want. I'm going to pick the top one. I've got x squared plus 0 squared equals 36. So that gives me x squared equals 36. Square root both sides, so I get x equals plus or minus 6. Now, before I get too far, let's make some ordered pairs out of these. So I've got x equals 6, and that goes with a y equals 0. So there's one of them. And I've got x equals -6. That also went with a y equals 0. So there's that one. All right, so we're done with that one. Now let's take the y equals -6. We'll just work right here with that one. So y equals -6, and we're going to put that back in the equation. So x squared plus -6, notice how I put it in parentheses because I'm going to square it, equals 36. So I have x squared plus 36 equals 36. Subtract 36 from each side, you get x squared equals 0. Square root both sides, you get x equals 0, because there's really no such thing as plus or minus 0. So here's my other ordered pair. We'll just put it right here. X equals 0 and y equals -6. So it looks like we have 3 solutions to this system with a circle and a quadratic.